Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Ministry of Education and Partners COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program. The Ministry of Education and Partners COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program is a 30-minute radio intervention support program that is meant to provide continuous instruction to keep you academically engaged during this stay-at-home period, as well as preparing you, our 6th, 9th, and 12th graders for the pending Liberia Primary School Certificate Exam, Liberia Junior High School Certificate Exam, and West Africa Senior Secondary Certificate Exam when the time comes. Also, in addition to this academic support, the program is meant to provide psychosocial support for learners, teachers, and parents, and also tips on how you as parents and teachers can provide support to your students and children at home. Now, let's join our teacher for today's lesson.
Hello learners, parents, and teachers. I am Solomon K. Chapa, your radio teacher for this lesson, and this is the Ministry of Education and Partner COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program for you, our beloved learners, teachers of the Republic of Liberia. Welcome. Our subject today is literature for students of grade 8, and the topic is autobiography. Please get your notebooks, pens, and pencil, and let's prepare to listen and learn. First, let us look at our objectives for the lesson today. At the end of the lesson today, we'll be able to describe an autobiography, state the difference between biography and autobiography, name and describe the types of autobiography, state the purpose of an autobiography. In our last lesson, we discussed the topic biography. We defined the term biography, the different types of biography, and the purpose of a biography. Today, we will be discussing autobiography. My name is Solomon K. Chapa, and this is your grade 8 literature class. Today, we are discussing autobiography. What is an autobiography? An autobiography is a self-written life story. It is different from biography, which is the life story of a person written by someone else. Some people may have their life story written by another person because they don't believe they can write well, but they are still considered an author because they are providing the information. What that means is that you may ask somebody to write for you, but once you are the one providing the information, the person is not coming up with his own information, you are still considered the author of that autobiography. Reading autobiography may be more interesting than biographies because you are reading the thoughts of the person instead of someone else's interpretation. So biographies are very interesting. You're reading the thought of the individual, writing about himself, and instead of somebody doing the interpretation, getting information, and writing about another person. The main difference between autobiography and biography is that the autobiography is a life story of a person written by that person himself, while biography is a life story of a person written by another person. Somebody writing about you, they are writing biography. But when you write about yourself, you are writing autobiography. The purpose of an autobiography is to give you the first-hand account into the life of the person you are reading about. They give you some first-hand information about the individual and to also give you a better insight into how their experiences have shaped them as a person. That gives you some information about all what they experience, how that shaped them as individuals to become what they are today or who they are today. You are listening to COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program, and this is grade 8 literature. Our topic is autobiography, and I am your teacher, Solomon K. Chapa. And now, back to our lesson. Types of autobiography. There are many types of autobiography. The author must decide what purpose they have for writing about their life, and then they can choose the format that will best tell their story. Most of these types of autobiography share common goal. Now, before you write an autobiography, you must first of all decide what aspect of your life that you want to talk about. But all of the autobiography share a common goal. And what are those goals for writing an autobiography? First, it will help you face the issue that you are writing about as an individual. Whatever problem that you face in life, when you write about it, that means you are facing the issue. You are not shying away from the issue. It also helps others to overcome similar events. Whatever life circumstances that you experience that you are writing about will help other people who have similar problems to overcome. Or simply telling your story. Either you just want to tell your story for people to know about you. So these are the three goals for writing an autobiography. Helping the author himself to face the issue by writing it down, helping others overcome similar events, or simply writing your story. Now let us look at the different types of autobiography. One of the types of autobiography is full autobiography. Now this is the complete life story of the person, starting from birth through childhood, young adulthood, and up to the present time at which the autobiography has been written. So when you do a full autobiography, you're writing about your birth, where you were born, when you were born. Sometimes you say how you were born, your childhood experience, how you grew up, your young adulthood as a young man or woman, how you came up, what was some of the activity that you were involved with. And then you also mention in that autobiography some of the experiences that you have up to the present that you are writing the autobiography. That is considered a full autobiography, taking your entire life and writing about it. The second type of autobiography is memoir. There are many types of memoir. Memoirs are different, have so many types. You can write about a place, you can write about a time period, you can write about your philosophy, that is your theory of life, what you believe life to be, how you look at life, your philosophy of life. And then your occupation, you write about your occupation, what did you learn, what led you to that career, what you are doing now, and how that is contributing to the society. So a memoir is a snapshot of a person's life, just a brief summary of your life, not taking into consideration your full life, but taking one aspect. So it focuses on one specific part that stands out as a learning experience or worth sharing. So one aspect of your life you take, you can talk about your philosophy, as we said, you can talk about your occupation, and what makes that to be so important to you, what you think it is worth sharing, what you think people need to know about this aspect of your life, so you can write a memoir which contains a specific aspect of your life and you are sharing it with the public. The third type of autobiography is what we call psychological illness. It's the people who have suffered mental illness of any kind find it to write down their thoughts. That they consider that to be a healing process, so they decide to write it down, what they experienced during that time. Say they found it writing down their story to be helpful to other people and also to be helpful to themselves. Then we have other type, which is confession. Confession is just as people share a psychological illness, people who have done something very wrong may find it helpful to write down and share their story. Maybe you have done something wrong, some terrible thing that hurt other people, or probably that hurt yourself. You want to write it. So sharing the story may make one feel he or she is making things right. When you share the story, then it make you feel that you are making things right. Or perhaps you hope that others will learn and avoid the same mistake. So when you confess, you write your confession about the wrong thing that you have done, how you hurt other people, how you harm other people. That means you are trying to go away from that bad behavior, that bad attitude. And it will also help other people that they will not go that same direction. Then we have what we call spiritual. Spiritual and religious experiences are very personal. However, many people feel that it is their duty and honor to share this story. So they may hope to pull others into their beliefs simply to improve their life. So you share your personal belief, your religious belief, you share with other people. Even though they are personal experiences, Like, for example, a Christian, a Muslim, how you became a Christian, and you want to share with other people. It is your personal experience, though, but you want to share with other people and see how that can improve their life. Then our next type of autobiography is what we call overcoming adversity. Many people do not have happy or shining life. Not at all. Not everybody was born with silver spoon in their mouth. Not everybody living a life, shining life. Not everybody uh, is living up. Some people are down. Now, there's a lot of events that will come in your life, that will come in your way. There are terrible events such as robbery. People will steal from you. Like in our country, we have the issue with armed robbery. Somebody will put you at gunpoint, they come to your house. That is a terrible situation. You have assault, you have kidnapping. People come and grab you and take you, and sometimes they will demand money from your parent or demand certain things from yourself before they can release you. And maybe if those demands are not met, they end up killing you or harming you. Murder. People kill. It's a terrible thing. You lost a very close relative, loved one, or horrific accident. You get involved in an accident, maybe everybody dies, or maybe people get hurt seriously, and they have a lifetime illness from that accident. Some life-threatening illnesses, like what we are experiencing now with COVID-19, those are things that people experience. But the issue is how you share the story and to inspire other people to know how you were able to overcome when you were faced with these adversity. Let's listen to some health tips on the COVID-19 virus.
Coronavirus is spread via droplets. When a person coughs or sneezes, the droplets land on surfaces and are picked up on the hands of others and spread further. People catch the virus when they touch their infected hands to their mouth, nose, or eyes. It follows that the single most important thing you can do to protect yourself is keep your hands clean by washing them frequently with soap and water or hand sanitizer.
Welcome back, learners. It will help you in the healing process, and it will also help people to know how to go about whenever they are faced with those type of situation. You are listening to COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program, and this is grade 8 literature. Our topic is autobiography, and I am your teacher, Solomon K. Chapper. And now, back to our lesson. The next thing we want to look at on autobiography is the importance of autobiography. Autobiographies are an important part of history. They are a very important part of history. When you learn about an important person, individual, key person in life, maybe in the past, what the person did, his contribution to society, that is history. But it has to do with an individual, not the entire country, but an individual role that they play that help other people or the entire country. That is history. So being able to read the person's own idea and their life story is getting the first person story versus the third person story, a story which is told by another person, talking about he, she, that type of version of autobiography or biographies. But when you get the information from that individual, it will help other people. That makes autobiography very important. Autobiographies are also important because they allow other people in similar circumstances realize they are not alone. And one of the important aspects of autobiography, people who find themselves in similar situation, they will feel that they are not alone. Others have experienced that before. Now we talk about illness, we talk about accident, we talk about people being robbed. So when you hear people's story, maybe sometime when you're experiencing all of these terrible things, you think that you are alone. But when you listen to the story or when you read the story of other people that they have written themselves, it gave you the courage that I am not the only person who experienced it, others experience that too. They can be inspiring for those who are facing problems in their life. And so that can inspire you. You are facing problems, say, well, somebody went through this that I'm going through now, and they were able to overcome. So I believe that I will overcome one day. For the author, writing the autobiography allowed them to heal as they express their feeling and opinion. That one of the important aspects of autobiography as well. The person that is writing about himself, the writing process will bring about healing as they talk about their feeling and their opinion. So autobiographies are very important part of history because they give you some information about the individual that is written by himself. What are some of the things that we need to include when we are writing autobiography? The autobiography should include all the most important details of the person's life. But specifically, there are some key elements that need to be considered when writing an autobiography. Number one is a description of your personal origin story. Now, this can include your hometown, where you come from, your family history, who are your parents, where did they come from? For example, in Liberia, which of the country are you from? If necessary, which tribe? Who are the family members? What is their role in the society? And some key family members and loved ones. You may have a lot of family members, but which of those family members were very key in your upbringing? Talk about some event in your education that were very touching that you need to mention for the society to know. What were the struggle that you went through when you were going to school? Were you victim of circumstances or you were able to overcome to be somebody in life? You need to talk about it. You need to describe that personal story. The next thing is the significant experiences that you have. What are some significant experiences that you have in life? Some important thing that you experience when you are coming up in life. What happened to you when you were a child? What happened to you when you were just a young adult coming up? Or when you became an adult? What were some of the things? Now, when that happened to you, how did that shape your view of the whole world? Did it change anything about your belief? You need to talk about some important experience in your life. The next thing you need to include in your autobiography is a personal story of failure. In life, you are not going to always succeed. There will be some failure in life. So you need to talk about your failure. What caused the failure? What led to the failure? How did you fail? Or what was the failure? You need to talk about that. Not just talking about the failure, but how did you respond to the failure? How were you able to overcome? Did you fail and forget about life? Probably you go into school and then you are put out for school fee and you have to sit down for years. Did you just remain like that? Or did you go back to say, look, even though I was put out for some time for school fee, but I'm going to try my best to make sure that I finish my high school and even go to college and get a degree. Talk about how you responded to the failure. Did the failure break you down? Did the failure serve as motivation to move forward? Put that in your autobiography. Then the last thing you need to consider in your autobiography is that the autobiography should be written from a first-person narrative voice, meaning it should be I, me, and mine instead of writing in a third or second-person narrative voice. Talking about he, she, or you, because you are the one writing. This is an autobiography, so it should be written from the first-person narrative voice. Again, you are listening to the COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program, and this is Grade 8 Literature. Our topic is autobiography, and I am your teacher, Solomon K. Chapa. And now back to our lesson. Before I leave you, let's summarize what we learned today. In our lesson today, we define autobiography, which is a life story of a person written by the person himself. While biology is a life story of a person written by another person, we also learned that the purpose of an autobiography is to give you first-hand account into the life of the person you are reading about and to give you a better insight into how their experiences have shaped them as a person. Then we also discuss 6 types of autobiography, and they are full autobiography, which cover the life story of the person from birth to childhood, young adulthood, their education, their work experience, whatsoever. Then we'll also talk about memoir, which is taking one aspect of your life and writing about it. It could be your education, it could be your career, it could be time period that you live in, what you experience, all of that. Then we'll talk about psychological illness, the mental illness that you experience, and how that shaped your life. We'll talk about confession, the evil that you have done, the wrong that you have done, and how you were able to put things right, and how that helped other people not to make the same mistake. You write about it. Spiritual, your spiritual experience, your religious experience. We have to do your personal religious experience, but how is that helping others? You need to talk about it. And overcoming adversity. What did you experience in life and how you were able to overcome that, and how can that help other people to overcome whenever they are faced with similar situation? Those were the 6 types of autobiography that we learned about today. So Leonard, my time spent with you was enjoyable, and I hope you have a wonderful time listening as well. You can listen to more of these lessons on the following station: True FM 96.1, ELBC 99.9, ELUM 98.7, Hot FM 107.9, Cool FM 91.9, Echo Radio 91.5, Kings FM 88.5, Freedom FM 87.9, Orchid FM 99.5, and City FM 90.2. You can also follow us on community radio stations across the country. In our next lesson, we will do some activities on biography and autobiography. So please do more reading and be ready for our next class. This brings us to the end of our lesson for today. If you have any question or need clarification on today's lesson, please text to the following numbers: 0555-811309, 0886-562545. As I leave you, please remember to wash your hands with soap and water, observe social distancing, wear your nose mask or face shield in public places. Stay home and stay safe.